All right, Tom, we got no guests, we got no topic, and nobody listens anyway. So you know what? We're going to talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan, man.
Like
It's
nobody's listening. Let's just talk to each other.
no, I think we got some people listening.
Who cares if
So
they
for the
are?
f
If you're listening, me and
so for
Tom are
the
going to
2
talk
people
and you
out
get to
there that are
listen into our
listening
conversation.
for the
No,
2
seriously,
people that are
let's
listening,
just have a conversation about like shit that's been going on, stuff we want to talk about.
yeah,
That's it.
lot of good stuff going on this week. We've been out and about, we've been meeting with people. I'm feeling some nice energy, some nice momentum, and I think we have a major thing that clicked that now gives us not that we're changing anything. We're doing exactly what we've been doing,
Yeah.
but it just changes the whole marketing of what we do in many ways.
You're talking about the founders trap, right?
Yep, talking about the founders trap, man. Talking about the founder trap.
Yeah, well, I guess now I'm going to talk to people since they're not listening. But yeah, we realized that everything that we've been doing, we have an assistant, Gary, and we asked Gary. Our assistant, by the way, is AI. We just call him Gary. But one of our assistants, Gary, I asked him, I'm like, hey, Tom and I don't know if we're advisors or coaches anymore, or mentors or therapists or this or that, or on people's advisory board. And so we went through and we talked down like, what are we actually? What are we actually doing? And it's funny, it came back to like, no, this is more of executive coaching, but what you're really doing is handling this problem and that problem. And I went through the whole thing with us. And I remembered something from years ago that I overheard, which is called the founders trap. And me and Tom looked it up, and there was an image that we found, and there was a description that we found. And we're like, holy shit. Like that's literally our entire business.
Yeah,
Like that is it. You know what? I have the image. Let me find it and pull it up on the
yeah.
screen.
Let's put it up on the screen. Let's
But how
show
did
the
you feel
people.
when you heard it?
It was when I heard about the founder trap, I'm like, all right, what is that? And then we looked at it, and it's like when you look at each part of it, it is everything that we talk about, that
There you go.
why people should work with us and why we coach and why we do what we do and why we've even built the whole Be the CEO program.
Yeah. And so
It
here it is. If you can't see it, we'll describe it to you. But if you're watching it, there it is in front of us. But this is really the types of people that we found we work with and what we're trying to overcome, this thing called the founder trap. And really what it is, if you look on the left-hand side, it's saying that everybody kind of starts with this skill and this expertise. Like that's where most of us start. We have, whether you went from corporate or you started out in your own business or whatever it is, you had some kind of a skill, kind of an expertise. And what you usually did is you just went out there and started your business, right, Tom?
Yeah, and you started your business and you started to make money, and now you're like, I'm even gonna say that time there is like in that skills and expertise is that first 1 to 3 years and where you start to make money, right? And that's
Yeah, I
what we
agree.
see a lot of our clients, right? And you get to that point where, oh shit, now you're doing invoicing, now you're doing the ordering, now you're going out on sales calls, now you're prospecting, now you're sending out the proposals, now you're closing the deals, now you're doing the work, and guess what? You're your business's best employee, and you
Yeah,
get
and
stuck
the
doing
problem is
everything.
though, like when people hit that level, like they are successful. On paper, they're successful. From the outside world, they're like, damn, you built a really great company. But to them internally, and most of our clients and most of the people we talk to who are interested in talking further with us, they're like, yeah, everybody else thinks I'm successful, but I don't feel that way. I feel overwhelmed. I feel burdened. I feel like I've hit the ceiling. And that's why even in this description, we have, the middle, it says founders trap if you're just listening. On the right, it says CEO. So you go from skills and expertise to founder trap to CEO. On the left, it says revenue. And we have this like broken line here, this dotted line that says a $1 million revenue ceiling. And this is what Tom and I have seen for so many people. They've hit that success level, but it is almost always beneath $1 million. And it's like, man, I don't understand. I just can't cross that barrier where they're making their, first couple of 100,000 or they've hit $700,000, $800,000. They can't like cross that barrier, and they're overwhelmed and they're fat and out of shape and or there's a million things that are happening. They're not going on vacation. They're not spending time with their families. It's like they want to take on more clients, but they can't take on more clients, but they need to take on more clients. And it's like, what is going on? And that in itself is the founder's trap. And what this means is that because you've built your company and you were the best at everything and you had to figure out everything along the way, you're trapped by that productivity. You're trapped by, well, I'm good at creating the website. I'm good at doing the sales calls. I'm good at delivering the product. I'm good at doing the invoicing. And now it's really hard at that point to let it go because you don't really identify any longer as the owner of this company. You identify as each and every one of those roles, right, Tom?
Well, you exactly. You're doing every single role, and you've learned to do every role pretty good to be have the success that you have. But at the same time, what comes up for a lot of people is this, micromanager archetype that we talk about, like that controls everything and has difficulty letting go of some of the responsibility because you feel at this point you've been doing it this way for 3 years, maybe, and now you've done every role and you're afraid to give it up too, because if you give it up you're afraid that things may fall apart. But what actually is happening is you're only increasing that ceiling and how long it's going to take you to get to that $1 million and break that ceiling, because you're afraid to let go of some of these things that now you've become habituated at and you're doing every single day. So it's very interesting, like you do all these things, but it actually takes advantage of your micromanager and your control over everything that you do.
But it actually seems crazy, right? Because you're like, well, why would I let this go? I'm successful. Like I'm making a few $100,000 a year. Company seems to be doing good. Why would I change anything? But then there's this internal disruption that they have, which is like, I want more. There's this dissatisfaction, right? Where like
Mhm.
I know my company is built for greater. I know my life is built for more. So it's like, but I can't let it go because then it's going to fall apart. I can't delegate it because it's going to fall apart. I can't push further because then I'm going to have less time. I can't, and that's that immense feeling of I am trapped inside of my business. And really, the way to overcome this or escape this trap is that you have to change your identity. And that's really when we see on the right side is how do you become the CEO? Well, we have in there, you build systems and you have people, but really what it is you finally realize they're like, wait a minute, I own this fucking company. Like I'm allowed to actually own this company. I don't have to do everything. And it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's not like all of a sudden you hire people and you delegate because a lot of people will think that, oh, let me hire for the sales guy and I won't do sales, or let me hire an assistant that'll take emails off my plate or something else or whatever it is. But if you do that, if you go ahead and do those other things, people think, well, oh, I'm out of the founder shop. Not because you're still thinking like an employee. What you tend to do, and what we've seen many of our clients do in those scenarios before they worked with us, was that they hire that person or they get that vendor, or they buy that software, and then they're just more of an employee to the other tasks. So they reallocate that employee mindset to the 17 other jobs that they gave themselves over the last few years. And now that part starts to really grow. And then what I see is, well, they're doing really good in some other area of their business. And the person that they hired is not doing up to the par what they want. And then they jump in and take their job over for them. And it's because they didn't put systems and processes in place to train that person, to allow them to understand what the purpose of this company is. And the reason isn't because they have bad SOPs, because everybody will tell you, just put in great SOPs. SOPs are worthless if you don't
Mhm.
understand who's getting them, what you want out of it. What really has to happen is you have to think like a CEO. You have to understand that you are now building a company. You're not serving a client. You're not doing the sales. You're not balancing the budget. You're not doing those things. You're now building a company. And when you start to finally think and act like a CEO, that's where all of these other things can change because you start to realize where the gaps are. You start to understand where your expertise is best used, where your time is best spent, where your money is best allocated towards. And before you really think like a CEO, it's usually just problem solving. Like, oh, I'm going to handle this problem with my money and I'm going to handle that problem with my time and I'm going to handle this opportunity. And it's like, that's all we really do is go through that phase. But when we finally take a breath and sit back and say, okay, now I'm running a company, we have to think forward, not think in the past. And that's where most people don't really have this ability to do yet because they're in the thick of it. They are trapped. Like we say, the founder trap. And what we really do is we go through, we're not going to go through all the modalities and everything else,
Yeah.
but we help people to reset themselves to understand what they do. And we give them an operating system to allow them to actually think and act differently to make decisions. And then after that, we give them support. That's really all it is. but it's changing completely how you show up every day. And that is a very difficult process to go through for anybody, especially if you've had success being the person you just were. You're like, what am I doing here? And that's really this founder's trap. And this is what Tom and I have figured out, that, man, we have been doing this for years. We just didn't have a label for it. It was atomic business coaching, and our program is Be the CEO. We have always talked about helping people to be the CEO of their life and their business, to be in control of it, to own it, right? But we never really had a phrase that was there for it. And when I remembered that founder's trap and we started looking it up, it was like,
Yeah.
holy
It
shit.
it's a well-established understanding, like, even, like, yesterday, we were out at an event, and we tried it on several people saying, "We help business owners to, escape the founder trap," and one guy looked at me and goes, "Wow, I understand what you do." He goes, "I know what the founder trap is." And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "We provide you with the ability, with the system, with the identity. We help you to understand your new identity and be able to move forward so that you can escape all of that nonsense and start to think and act like a CEO so you can make all that those decisions." And I even used, like what we were saying about our advisory board and how that comes in and how, with this new identity that you form, you have a lot of questions and there's a lot of issues or ideas and concerns that come up for you, and that's where you need ongoing support to help you mold and refine this identity. That once you identify yourself as a CEO, once you identify yourself as the true owner of a business, because part of the mischief, I'm going to use the word mischief, of the trap is that loss of identity because of all the roles you're doing. And you wake up one day and it's like, why the hell am I doing this? And why am I doing that? And why
Yeah.
am I making that phone call when that could be done by somebody else? Like, it's like you don't know who you are. You lose your entire identity. You lose even why you started the business in some cases, and what you really wanted from the business. And that's what our system is really about, to help you so that you can start to act and think differently and have that certainty to know exactly what you need to do, because you already know how to do that. We say that all the time. You know how to do this stuff. You just don't know what and why you want to do it. And that's what this whole process is about. But it really is escaping the clutches of this founder trap that you have to break away from and do the work to move forward. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck in that trap, and you're going to start to get infection on that wound that that trap has inflicted.
Yeah, we were even we were lucky enough to be honored the other day at an event, and one of the board members for this organization, I've known him since high school, and he has a successful printing company. And I was like, "Oh, we help people escape the founder's trap. Do you know what that is?" And he's like, "I think I do. I think I've heard you talk about that."
Yeah, yeah.
And I explained it to him, and he just looked at me like his jaw dropped, and he's like, "Oh shit, you're kind of describing me." So he didn't know what it was, but as we explained the process and the evolution that happens to most of us, he's like, "Yeah, I'm literally sitting in that." And he did. He asked if we could talk further. I don't know if we'll do business or not, but he recognized that I'm in that position and I really don't need to be, just by us having a simple explanation of what it is that people end up in, that trap that they end up in. And it's never intentional. It's not like people say, "Oh, I want to control everything." There's a lot of people who are micromanagers and controllers and those things. It's not really that. It's more out of necessity. It's out of, like, every time we grow, we have to quickly capture that growth. And what do
Hmm.
we usually do? We put that burden on ourselves as business owners. And yes, if there's enough time or enough revenue, we eventually start to delegate certain things, or we eventually start to hire. And especially when it's someone's first business, that's where they usually are like, all right, I'm responsible for this, right? They look at themselves in the owner frame of, like, it's my responsibility, but then they put the action on themselves as the employee, not as the owner. And when we start to think like a CEO, think like an owner, it is still your responsibility, not to do the thing, to help the organization to do the thing. And that is that disconnect that many of us have had. It's like, well, no, this is my job. I own the company. My name's on the door. I'm supposed to do this stuff. You are. You are supposed to help your company do it. You are not your company. And that's where most people's identity gets captured into. And this is where we call people self employed. You create a job for yourself. And For all of you out there who successfully have created a job for yourselves and are happy, don't change a thing. That's wonderful. But if you're dissatisfied with where you're at and you want something more and you don't know what it is, take a look, and this may be the actual issue. And whether or not you reach out to us or go out and get your own help, or you just recognize the problem and start working through it, that's really what it's all about, is pulling your head out of the sand, looking
Mhm.
around and saying, "Oh, damn, why am I the best employee for my company in every single area? Does that make sense for where I want to go?" And if it does, and if you're content and like this place is a beautiful life and a beautiful business and that's wonderful, don't change it. But if you're not, and you're like, man, something has to change, at least start with what your mindset is. Like, am I acting as an owner? Am I in the charge of this business? Am I the steward of this company? Or am I just doing everything this company needs to get done?
Yeah, man. It's that simple. We don't realize it. We don't realize that when you start these businesses out of a passion or an expertise, that you're going to wind up shifting the entire version of yourself. And that's really what this is all about, is being able to find that new identity and understand it, learn how to work with it to become the success that you
And what
want to
it
be.
really is allowing yourself to realize you're at the next phase of your
Yeah.
evolution, and that's what happens is you hit a ceiling for everything, and it's time to move on. It's time to move up. It's time to move away, whatever it may be. But there are just times, even when you get to the CEO level and you're doing multi millions, there's going to come another time when you have to evolve. And it just does not stop. But you have to, as long as if you're happy, you can stay where you're at. Okay. And when Tom and I talk about happiness, it's when there's nothing missing, right? There's nothing missing. If you want to be successful, there's usually a dissatisfaction. Okay. Dissatisfaction means that I want to have this success. Happiness is like nothing's missing. I'm good. And for those of you who are good, congratulations. We'd love to hear your story. Come on the podcast as a guest with us. But for those of you that are really striving to do more and can't figure out why, reach out for us for that reason. We can maybe walk you off the ledge or get you out of that trap. I got keys. You got keys, Tom?
I have the keys to the trap, man.
You got
We
the
got the
keys. Okay.
keys.
All right, brother. Let's get out of here. This is a short
All right.
one.
Short
See
one,
ya.
but a good one.